Hey Duncan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Good, we can hear you, so whenever you're ready.
Sure. Hi, Warren, commiserations. Can you just please sum up your disappointment of going so close?
Yeah, I'm disappointed, obviously, but I'm really proud of the effort that the boys put into today. I thought we were bold and we went out there to be positive and play some rugby and missed one or two chances, and they kind of get a lucky bounce and score a try from against the run and play. And a couple of little 50-50 calls probably didn't go our way, but it was a proper test match. It was tough, it was physical, and that's what you expect. Well, that's what you want with the Lions series. It's not going to be easy going away, travelling away from home, playing the world champions, and it was a really tight contest. And yeah, we're disappointed. It could have, like I said, it could have got anyway. But congratulations to South Africa.
To see Mornay Steyn kick the winning penalty, is that a bit of a gut wrench, or does it not matter who kicks the ball?
Yeah, it's a bit of deja vu, isn't it? So, yeah, but we probably need to. With the penalty count was against us 15-12, and at this level, that it's so important. Your aim's to keep your penalties under 10 international rugby, and if you can do that, it makes a significant difference. We had penalty our way, and then the high shot from Finn Russell goes the other way, and sort of big moments of 2-on-1 with Liam Williams and Josh Adams, and you should have given the pass probably, and you get one or two chances at this level, and you've got to make the most of it because and you've got to be clinical when they come around.
How much of a difference did Finn Russell make when he came on?
I think he was good. We talked about moving the ball, and the ball went through his hands a lot, which was good. We shortened them up on a few occasions when we sort of went to fourth or fifth phase, and that created some space for us, which was good. But look, here, we're disappointed that he's dropped the ball in the air, which he probably normally would take, and like I said, he's a bit unlucky on the tackle, but probably left foot kick down the middle of the park wasn't probably one of his best moments. But look, he just showed how quick he can get the ball through his hands, and he created some stuff, and for someone who hasn't played a lot of rugby, I thought he was excellent.
Thanks, Warren.
Warren, sorry, I lost my voice. Is that a fair reflection of the series, the outcome, or do you feel a bit regretful that it should have gone your way?
Oh, look, when you're playing against South Africa and the world champions, it's going to be really tight contests, and it's going to be a bounce of the ball or a call or something, and we've been held up over the line, then we get penalised at a scrum, which is a little bit unlucky, and when you're 5 metres out from their line, and so from that point of view, there was, like I said, some key moments, but it was always going to be a bounce of the ball. It was always going to be tight, and look, the boys gave it 100%, and from a coaching point of view, you can't ask for more than that. We spoke at half time about starting really well after half time. We had a good first half, and that was probably the most disappointing part of the game, was that first 10 minutes after half time, where we just got pinned a little bit in our own half, and then it took us a while to sort of start generating a bit more momentum.
Hi, Warren, commiserations. When you look back on this series, is it going to be one of absolute frustration of looking back at 100 tiny things that you could have done 1% better?
Yeah, possibly. That's rugby for you. It's at the highest level. Like I said, you get one or two chances, and a mistake is really costly, and that's probably, even though, like I said, the players are given everything, they'll probably look back individually and go, there was an error there, or they've given a penalty away that, sort of is a big moment in the game, and that's kind of what you're working towards at the highest level, to eliminate some of those sorts of things. But like I said, I can't complain about our attitude and the way the approach we went to stress them as much as we could, and we probably turned down a couple of 3-point opportunities to go to the corner. We were trying to build a bit of a lead that then put them under a bit of pressure, just to force them potentially not to keep going to the air and to open up the game a bit, which then gives you chances to, if the game does loosen up.
Thanks, man.
Hi, Warren. Can you sum up what you were feeling in that last 10 minutes when it was on such a knife edge, and maybe just how much this tour's taken out of you as a head coach?
Yeah, it hasn't taken anything out of me. It's been a tough series. It's been exciting, and those are the sort of things that you want to be involved in. And at 16 all, kind of reminded me. I was thinking it reminded me a little bit of the World Cup semi-final. It's kind of you're thinking you got to stay in this, and someone's going to get an opportunity towards the end of the game. And unfortunately, we're the ones that have been penalised and have conceded 3 points. So that's the kind of thing you just got to stay, be very, very clear in terms of that, and potentially play a bit of territory. Wait for a chance, because you are going to get a moment in those last few minutes when the game's so tight, and they were the team that got that.
Hey Warren, commiserations. Can I just ask you, kind of on a more general point, like looking at the tour as a whole, obviously it's very unique circumstances, but are there things that could help the Lions be successful in future tours? And also, would you like to be involved again with the Lions?
In terms of the involvement, there's a lot of water under the bridge in terms of 4 years. A lot of things can happen in that time. I've loved my time with the Lions, and I don't think there's anything different. It's just about continually said about the Lions would need to go and talk to the clubs and the unions as well about just having that preparation time, that adequate preparation time to go on a tour, because you're playing away from home, normally with a lot of travel, a lot of expectation. You're putting a team together in such a short period of time, and there's a lot of expectation to win a series. And so, we get, as the Lions, when you're putting the best players together from the Northern Hemisphere, we get less preparation than the national teams do when they go on their own tours. So, it's a common theme. I've been continually saying it, and hopefully within the next 6 months that they can hopefully iron that out, and we can get the schedule for 4 years tidied up in terms of when finals are on, so that you can get the whole squad together for a couple of weeks before you go on tour, and that would significantly make a lot of difference in terms of helping your preparation.
Cheers, safe on.
Hey Warren, Murray kind of asked my question, but just a bit more personal side. What's next for you? And you said there's a lot of water under the bridge between now and 4 years, but does this kind of leave an itch for you to stay involved with the Lions, or have you kind of already rounded that off in your head?
Yeah, look, it's something that I'll reflect on. I think, I'm incredibly proud of my involvement and been very, very fortunate. So I'm very passionate about the Lions. So I fly back to New Zealand tomorrow, and then start thinking about my roll back with the Chiefs. A long flight, and then 14 days isolation in a hotel. So that's the least of what I'm looking forward to doing, which is going to be tough, because having been in isolation already for the last 8 weeks. So there's another challenging couple of weeks ahead. And I think at that time on my own, it'd be a good chance to think about what's the next chapter of my life's going to be. I'm not someone who plans too far ahead. I'm a great believer in what will be, and other things will be on the horizon, hopefully in the future, and other opportunities. And what that will be, I'm not sure. I definitely haven't got any long-term plans, and it's just a bit of wait and see. But things about Lions tours is that they are so intensive, not just for the players but all the staff and everything. So everyone needs a little bit of a break to refresh and to clear their minds, and then start thinking about what happens next.
Warren, just a quickie. You bloodied a few new players. How did you find Marcus Smith and Sam Simmons in the squad when they've got very little experience of international rugby?
Yeah, I think I just hope that they've learned a lot from this tour, not so much from playing, but just from the other players around them in terms of the top players in the squad, in terms of their professionalism and the way that they train, all the extras they do, their recovery. So I think they definitely would have benefited from that. I think Marcus Smith is going to be a superstar in the game. I think he's incredibly talented. If he was probably at any other of the four home nations, he would have definitely been playing international rugby by now. And hopefully he gets that opportunity going forward, because he's definitely got an incredible amount of talent, and there's probably some other players that haven't been involved, but their experience from this will hold them in really good stead. One for their national teams when they return home, but if they do get picked in 4 years' time for another Lions tour, that experience will be invaluable for them. And I thought, and a really good example of that, I thought Robbie Henshaw was excellent tonight, and he probably learnt from the experience 4 years ago, and that really brought him on and had really improved him as a player in the last 4 years. And I think there's going to be a number of players in the same boat, and then you end up with that mixture of really experienced players in the middle, and some youngsters who will really grow from being part of the Lions.
Thank you.
Okay, last one.
Hi Warren, I was going to just, I suppose, before we all sail off for the next 4 years, before this all disappears into the wilderness and we get back to the normal goings on, just, you've touched on it already, but just kind of looking, as you said, you were talking about sorting out the fixtures and sorting out everything over the next few years. Just, can you put into words how important it was for the Springboks to win today and how disappointing it is for you to lose? Just in the grand scheme of things, in terms of world rugby, just how important is the Lions to professional rugby in this day and age?
I think if you talk to anyone, you talk to the players that are involved, and that's the Lions players, and you talk to anyone from the Southern Hemisphere. There's two events on the world calendar, and they happen every 2 years. One, every 4 years. One's the World Cup, and the other one's the Lions. Those are the two things that players want to be a part of, whether you are selected for the Lions or whether you're players from the Southern Hemisphere. And it holds a lot of players back in the Southern Hemisphere who may be looking at other opportunities going overseas, and they might re-sign for the national teams for a year or two to be a part of playing against the Lions. It generates normally, when in normal tours, a huge amount of financial reward to the Southern Hemisphere teams, but it's special and it's unique. So, it's something that we need on that calendar, and we need to preserve, because it is a very important part of the rugby cycle. We know the Rugby Championship, we know about the Six Nations, and they're yearly, but these things in a biannual or 4 yearly cycle are something that is extraordinary but incredibly unique and special.
Cheers. Thanks, Warren. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Last one, Joe.
Warren, Jerry here. Commiserations. Could I ask you just one specific question about Lions tour itineraries moving forward? You've presided over a test series with midweek games in the weeks of the first and second tests, and now with that one. I presume there are pluses and minuses in both, but moving forward, which would you recommend?
It's a really good question. It's something that we've talked about, and it's I don't know what the answer is to this, and it's as you go into a test match week, you want to be able to have the full preparation time with that test side, and there's been criticism in the past of us bringing in players to help protect that test team in preparation, but it's also hard on those players that aren't involved in the tests, in terms of that they don't really have rugby for sort of potentially 3 or 4 weeks, and keeping them part of it. One of the things about the midweek games it does keep them involved and keep them playing rugby, and so yeah, and that's a positive. So like I said, I don't know the answer to this. Maybe what Clive Woodward did in 2005 in terms of having two separate teams, is that the right model going forward? But then do you miss all the stuff in terms of the bonding that goes on? Are you devaluing the jersey a little bit by having sort of an A team and a B team? So look, I think there are really good discussions to have in the coming years about what is the right format and how does it work. And like I said, we've tried to bring in players in the past to bolster up that team that's playing in that midweek game before the test, and having everyone still engaged and involved. And we've also done it when we haven't done that, and it's been quite challenging for the Test 23, because you've got guys sitting on the bench on a Wednesday and being involved in a match where normally that would be a pretty tough training day for the Test side in a normal Test week. So yeah, I haven't really given you an answer, but it's really worth debating that as something going forward.
Cheers, Warren. Safe travels.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thank you very much.
Cheers.